Later that night, Dorian sat alone in his dimly lit hotel room. Dorian's call to Clara. Clara on phone. Didn't expect to hear from you this late. Dorian said heavily, I need you to reopen the Prague files. All of them. Jean-Michel Dallaire. A pause. Then Clara's voice shifted, sharper, focused. That's a name. I am surprised when June sent me those articles. I haven't heard in a long time. I thought the case was shut tight. Political landmine, if I remember. Exactly. Too tight. Everything about it was perfect. The evidence, the timing. Like someone wanted it tied up with a bow. I think I helped bury an innocent man. Another pause. Clara didn't argue but said, You've always had a strong stomach for regret, Dorian. But if this is what I think it is, Vescari again. He's been 3 steps ahead of us for years. He's been planning for this. But not anymore. I need every unredacted record. Contacts. Surveillance. I'll get you what you need. But be careful. Vescari doesn't just clean up loose ends. He erases them. Dorian ended the call and stared out the hotel window, Milan glowing below in golden shadows. This time, he whispered, I won't let the wrong man burn. Clara in her office. The hum of fluorescent lights filled the sterile room. Clara Jensen, former intelligence analyst turned freelance investigator, sat alone behind an old military-grade laptop, surrounded by towers of documents and hard drives. She was never one for sleek offices or pretty views. Her workspace was as utilitarian as her methods, bare-bones, efficient, unsentimental. The Prague case file flickered open on her screen. She had bypassed 2 encrypted archives to get it. Typical bureaucracy, locking up truths no one wanted touched. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Subject, Jean-Michel Dallaire. Date, November 18, 2015. Charges, multinational financial fraud, bribery, shell charities, tax evasion. Status, convicted without trial. Deceased in holding, 2016. Caused suicide. She frowned. Too neat. Scrolling deeper, she opened the digital trail that the general public never saw. Metadata from case reports, timestamp discrepancies, testimonies scrubbed clean. One name kept popping up over and over again, Leon Vescari. But never in front. Always in shadows. He was listed not as a direct stakeholder, but always present. A partner of a holding company, a donor to a cooperating firm, an advisor in an advisory board that had conveniently pivoted the moment Dallaire was accused. Clara narrowed her eyes. Her lips moved as she read line by line. You never signed the crime, but you signed the check. Then she found it, an audio snippet buried in a forgotten surveillance report. Male voice. He thinks he's clean. He thinks they'll listen to evidence. That man still believes in courts. Second voice, unidentified, then he's already lost. She leaned back, heart ticking faster. They knew Dallaire was innocent. Clara opened another window and decrypted a photo. Dallaire being led away in handcuffs. In the background, out of focus, was a sharply dressed man exiting through the rear of the courthouse in a dark suit. She zoomed in. Vescari. No headlines had mentioned him. But there he was, watching the show. Some people leave fingerprints. Others leave silence. But the cleverest criminals? They leave other people's names. Clara closed the file and grabbed her secure phone. Clara, texting Dorian, it's bigger than we thought. Your arrest was a setup, and Vescari's been cleaning the board since Prague. She didn't wait for his reply. She leaned back, tied her blonde hair up in a knot, and whispered to herself, It's time someone stopped him. Adrian sat in his dark apartment, lit only by the pale spill of moonlight through tall windows. The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and metal from the bandage still clinging to his ribs. The bruises had started to yellow, but the ache in his chest hadn't dulled, not the physical one. On the table sat two things. One, a photo of his father, younger and smiling, the kind of warm laugh Adrian could barely remember. Two, a printed headline from years ago. Finance tycoon Dallaire arrested in massive European fraud scandal. He had believed the second thing for so long, built his fury and survival on it. But now Dorian's words clung to him. Your father was set up, and the one with that kind of power is Vescari. Adrian closed his eyes. What if Dorian was right? What if he'd hated the wrong man? What if he'd sold pieces of himself to a monster just to get revenge on someone who had only tried to do the right thing? He gripped the edge of the table so hard his knuckles turned white. And worst of all, what did that make him? Was he a victim? Or a villain? I don't know who to believe anymore, he whispered to the dark. He turned toward the balcony, where the Milan breeze ruffled the curtains like a ghost. And for the first time in years, Adrian Dallaire didn't feel like a man with a plan. He felt like a boy again. Lost. Alone. On the edge of choosing who he really wanted to be. The sun hadn't fully risen over Milan, but Dorian Fox had been up for hours. He stood by the window, coffee in hand, staring blankly at the skyline. His phone buzzed against the kitchen counter. A secured message. Clara. His gut clenched. He opened the encrypted text. Clara Jensen, it's bigger than we thought. Your arrest was a setup, and Vescari's been cleaning the board since Prague. He read it again. And again. Then, slowly, he exhaled. God damn it, Vescari is chasing me for that reason, he muttered, setting his coffee down untouched. The girls were still half asleep when Dorian stormed into their suite, wearing a trench coat and intensity like armor. June was curled on the couch with her laptop, and Vivi was silent on the balcony with tea. Dorian said sharp but calm, "Girls, sit down. This isn't a drill anymore." They looked up. The tone in his voice cut through the morning grogginess. June was already alert. You found something. You and Clara did. The Czech articles, and Clara dug into the Prague case. He turned to Vivi, then briefly toward the other. Adrian's father, Jean-Michel Dallaire, was set up by Vescari. I was the one who put the cuffs on him. And I might have walked right into their trap. The room went still. Vivi softly said, So, is this about you? Adrian's been hating the wrong man. Hating the wrong man, playing for the wrong one, and falling for the right girl. June said quiet but pointed, What do we do now? Dorian paced, gathering his thoughts. Vescari's not just some rich thug. He's a shadow broker. He dismantles lives with paperwork and silence. But now we have threads. Clara has more. And Adrian, if we're lucky, will finally flip sides. He stopped, looked each girl in the eye, and said firmly and fatherly, I wanted you girls on the next flight out. But Clara reminded me, Vescari doesn't need a location to find someone. He needs a reason, and we've already given him too many. June was resolute. Then let's give him something else. A reason to lose. Vivi sat up straighter and said, If he's trying to break me, let him watch me rise instead. June was smirking. Let's starve the monster. Dorian smiled for the first time in days, tight but proud, and said, Good. Because this game just changed sides.
The Haute pursuit story goes like this.
When two best friends travel to Paris, their holidays turn into on a quest for the stolen earrings.
In search of clues, they stumble into a sinister world of fashion, family secrets, and international organized crimes. It is written and everything is created by Sue Aung.